welcome to a special isolation edition of Mastermind. Let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Neil Kennedy,
Your occupation?
retired bra fitter,
And your chosen subject?
the Bowls Club and general knowledge.
So, before we begin, how are you coping with isolation?
Well, now that you come to mention it, very well, thank you.
Right then, on the Bowls Club and general knowledge. Here we go, 3 minutes starting now. What do Les Brake and Tommy Cooper have in common?
They both have size 18 feet.
They were both members of the Household Cavalry. What does the E stand for in Philip E. Wilson?
Enoch,
Edwin. Peter Carnell graduated from a highly respected Norwich-approved school with which honour?
aggravated burglary.
Correct. The phrase, "I don't know what they do to the enemy, but they frighten the hell out of me," was said about whom?
Rosemary Brooks.
It was said by the Duke of Wellington about his own troops before the Battle of Waterloo. Bob Wilcox joined the police force after an unsuccessful period in which profession?
Jockey,
Correct. Which three members of the club formed a singing trio called the Disciples of Happiness and Joviality?
Chris Thorne, Dave Roberts and Brian Rumble.
Correct. On the 2015 tour, who infamously wore a vest to breakfast?
Pass.
What is the correct name for an Eskimo?
Inuit.
Correct. When Brian Rumble declared his pole was in desperate need of a good rub down and attention, what was the response?
Until it could be attended to, it should remain erect and unused.
Correct. Paul Tibble holds a black belt in which Oriental art?
Origami.
Judo. Which member panicked, thinking he'd been struck down with deafness, only to realise his wife had gone out?
Mel Griffiths.
Correct. Who was suspended from St Mary's Church after an episode with the rector and a courgette, which later became known as the Lurpak incident?
Steve Bartlett.
Correct. The fitting of which appliance had Bob Seedon saying, "It has been a revelation and changed his life"?
Truss.
A state-of-the-art hearing aid. What was Liz Kennedy's reason as to why she wanted Neil to retain his beard?
It tickled her fancy.
She thought it made him look more sophisticated. Who has the biggest bowls at the club?
Michael Hickman.
Tom Tucker.
Oh, balls.
What is the correct term for someone who holds conversations with themselves whilst playing bowls?
Craddockism.
Correct. Who holds the highest title at the club?
Lord Ludders of Netherbury.
It's President Marion Carter. Who at the club has recently been awarded the contract to front Paco Rabanne's new aftershave advert?
Duthie Jones.
Correct. After a directive from the club stating that all members must display their initials on their woods for identification purposes, which member, with the middle names Norman Oliver, expressed his reluctance to do so?
Keith Brooks.
Correct. Other than coronavirus, what phrase is guaranteed to strike fear into the hearts of club members?
Working party required.
Correct. Margaret Clapp is spearheading the club's recruitment drive aimed mainly at youth, along with which two other members?
Sheila Jones and Christine Cowdery.
Correct. What is reputedly the only man-made object which can be seen from the moon?
Bob Johnson's shirts.
The Great Wall of China. Play was halted at last season's friendly fixture with Lyme Regis, when what incident occurred involving Clive Bernard Langdon?
He fell into a ditch and needed a ladder to get out.
Correct. During the recent Club Silence Championship between Neil Kennedy and Bill Payne, what was the outcome?
It was abandoned and declared a draw after 53 seconds.
Correct. After spending the afternoon with Paul Tibble on their boat, Bob Wilcox was later to remark what?
He'd rather spend a week in self-isolation with Piers Morgan.
Correct. Which member of the club had an unsuccessful trial with the Harlem Globetrotters?
That would be Billy Street.
Correct. It will be hard, but I want to try and keep it up, was Alan Bird's response to his recent impressive performance. What did he put it down to?
Viagra.
Switching to Drake's Pride Professionals. Who wrote the book The Mafia and My Part in Their Downfall?
Mike Smith.
Mario Puzo. After reading which book did Mike Solomon declare that he would use it as the blueprint for his captaincy, with particular emphasis on recruitment of lady members?
Show Me What You've Got by Harvey Weinstein.
The Bowling Club Management by David Bryant. Asked if she was signing up for the club this season in light of the enforced closure, Liz Kennedy answered how?
Yes.
She was happy and willing to sign up for membership, along with Neil's Do Not Resuscitate order. What or who are the Fun Boy Three?
Neighbours Brian Pratt, Jeff Strange and John Carter.
A 1980s pop band from Coventry. What was Prince Charles referring to when he famously described it as a monstrous carbuncle?
Mel Griffith's ponytail.
The National Gallery. What is generally considered by most members to be the one main drawback of the club, and you may answer?
Me?
A lack of a car park. You passed on one question. On the 2015 tour, who infamously wore a vest to breakfast? The answer was Ian Hewitt, which you answered late, but bizarrely correctly for the following question. Neil, you have scored 15 points.
Don't hit me again!